TikTok.
TikTok.
So basically, TikTok was created by a Chinese company called ByteDance in 2016. But it became globally popular after merging with musical.ly in 2018. What was special about it was the algorithm that helps even new users go viral. Today it has over 1.5 billion users, and it's not just an entertainment app. It's a powerful force shaping music, fame, and news in digital culture. By the way, TikTok's powerful algorithm learns from user interactions to deliver personalized content, making the app highly addictive and allowing even new users to go viral. Things like watching or liking or commenting. But entertainment aside, this algorithm shapes trends, influences politics, and raises privacy concerns due to the vast amount of data it collects. To sum this up, let's look at some data. TikTok has over 1.5 billion active users worldwide. The average user spends around 52 minutes per day on the app. It's used in over 150 countries, supporting more than 75 languages. It made over $18 billion in 2023 from ads and in-app purchases.
We're looking at TikTok. We may be banning TikTok. We may be doing some other things. There are a couple of options, but a lot of things are happening, so we'll see what happens.
In 2020, President Trump attempted to ban TikTok, which sparked legal battles, as TikTok argued the ban violated their rights. Trump claimed it was a national security threat because China owns it. When President Biden took office in 2021, he cancelled the ban but launched a new investigation into TikTok's security risks, keeping the app under government scrutiny. Now, let's look at some American data. There are over 150 million TikTok users in the US. TikTok's proposed global valuation stands at around $60 billion. Oracle and Walmart proposed a 20% ownership in the company in order to keep its servers in the US.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
When Joe Biden became president in 2021, he canceled Trump's TikTok ban, but ordered a new investigation to assess if the app posed a national security threat, focusing on whether the Chinese government could access American user data. In 2023, the US passed the Restrict Act to address risks from all foreign-owned apps, while TikTok defended itself by launching Project Texas to secure US data. Concerns about Chinese influence persisted. What is the Restrict Act? The Restrict Act, introduced in 2023 under Biden, gives the US Secretary of Commerce the power to investigate and ban foreign-owned apps and technologies, like TikTok, if they pose national security risks, targeting not just China, but other countries seen as foreign adversaries. Although TikTok launched Project Texas to secure US user data with Oracle, concerns about foreign influence and data security persist among lawmakers. TikTok has made a $1.5 billion investment in Project Texas. The Restrict Act passed with strong bipartisan support in Congress. There are ongoing investigations by CFIUS into TikTok's operations.
We're eager to talk to you today about the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act.
In 2024, the US passed the Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act. It requires TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, to sell its US operations by January 19, 2025, or face a nationwide ban due to concerns over potential Chinese government access to American user data. ByteDance refused to sell, sparking legal battles, protests from TikTok users, and tensions with China. And companies like Microsoft and Oracle showed interest in a deal potentially worth $40 to $60 billion. The US passed the PAFACA law due to national security concerns. They are worried about the Chinese government's access to user data and influence through TikTok's algorithm. If they don't sell their operations to a US-based company, they face a nationwide ban that would remove the app from stores and potentially block it entirely. TikTok denies these risks and has invested $1.5 billion in Project Texas to secure US data. They are not interested in selling, so it seems like TikTok will get banned in the US altogether. To sum up, here's some data. The deadline was on January 19, 2025. TikTok's US valuation is between $40 billion and $60 billion. Project Texas investment to secure US user data is over $1.5 billion.
Quote in response, "It ultimately goes up to me, so you're going to see what I'm going to do. Congress has given me the decision, so I'll be making the decision."
After the US passed the PAFACA law in 2024, TikTok sued the government, claiming the law violated free speech rights. but the Supreme Court ultimately ruled in favor of the US, citing that national security concerns are more important than potential Chinese government access to user data. After the ruling, TikTok had to decide to either sell or get banned. This sparked protests from users and tensions with China, which threatened retaliation against US companies like Apple and Tesla. The Supreme Court's 2024 decision was critical in TikTok's legal battle. They ruled 6-3 in favor of the US government, which argued that national security concerns over potential Chinese access to user data outweighed TikTok's freedom of speech claims. This ruling left TikTok with no legal options, forcing them to either sell US operations to an American company or face a nationwide ban. To sum it all up, here's the timeline. In April 2024, TikTok sues the US government. In August 2024, Supreme Court agrees to hear the case. In November 2024, Supreme Court rules in favor of the US government.
Time has run out on TikTok. The popular social media app is offline tonight after a new law banning it went into effect in the US.
On January 18, 2025, TikTok was shut down in the US after they failed to sell their US operations by the PAFACA deadline. This sparked outrage from users and businesses reliant on the app. However, just 2 days later, President Trump issued an executive order delaying the ban for 75 days, allowing TikTok to resume operations temporarily while they can find a solution. He set a final deadline for April 4, 2025. It seems that the reason Trump let them resume operations temporarily was because of the economic impact on small businesses and the political pressure from both parties. He believes that this way he can negotiate a better deal for United States interests. He gave TikTok another 75 days to find a solution. So, here's the timeline. On January 18th, TikTok shuts down in the US. On January 20th, Trump lifts the ban and delays it for 75 days. And April 4th is the new deadline for the better deal.
Believe me, they are trying every effort every approach they possibly can to collect information on us users here in the U.S., but also government officials and what our companies may have intellectual property-wise.
The U.S. government views TikTok as a national security risk because they believe that it is used for spying or influencing public opinion. It's a Chinese company, and it could be forced to share sensitive American user data with the Chinese government. Critics argue that banning TikTok violates free speech rights, harms businesses and creators, and sets a dangerous precedent for government control over digital platforms, sparking protests and an ongoing debate about balancing security with digital freedoms. People claim that there's no solid proof of such data sharing with the Chinese government. Some are fearful of the US-China conflict that this creates. And this also impacts millions of creators and tens of thousands of businesses who make a living on the platform. But the Supreme Court puts United States security above all else and is willing to take this risk.
As U.S. lawmakers move forward with legislation that could potentially ban TikTok, China is warning of repercussions.
The decision to ban or force the sale of TikTok affected US-China relations. China sees it as economic targeting, and it's threatening retaliation against American companies like Apple and Tesla. The Chinese are one of the biggest Apple and Tesla markets, and this will potentially impact the global economy. Financially, the ban hurt TikTok, advertisers, and content creators. But on the plus side, it helped alternative platforms like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts as businesses and users sought new spaces for growth. China views the ban or forced sale as a political attack. They threaten retaliation against American companies like Apple and Tesla. This conflict is part of a larger tech war over data control and digital influence. It can potentially lead to even tighter tech regulations, higher costs for consumers, and global economic impacts. Let's look at some stats to get a better idea of this. The US-China trade in goods and services is worth over $600 billion annually. The annual US ad revenue for TikTok is estimated at around $18 billion. The estimated affected US-based content creators are over 7 million. Instagram Reels has over 2 billion global users. And YouTube Shorts has over 50 billion daily views.
We're taking a closer look at our phones, specifically TikTok.
TikTok has evolved into a powerful political tool. It's influencing elections, activism, and public opinion worldwide, with users organizing events and political campaigns, and movements like Black Lives Matter gaining global traction. This has raised concerns among governments, particularly the US, about the platform's potential for propaganda and manipulation. given that China owns it and there's a lack of US control over it. TikTok has had a significant impact on US elections. Users are organizing pranks that embarrass political campaigns. Political parties use influencers to promote their messages, despite the platform's ban on political ads. Concerns have arisen over TikTok's algorithm potentially being manipulated to promote certain political views, raising fears about foreign influence and the platform's control over public discourse, especially given its Chinese ownership. Here's some data about this. 60% of the US-based TikTok users are under the age of 30. 2023 Pew Research has concluded that 35% of Gen Z voters rely on TikTok for political information. Black Lives Matter has over 22 billion views. And for reference, climate change has only 3 billion views.